somebody else comes along, 'cause now I know just what I'm gonna do.
After Hours Radio on Dirty Chai Radio. Name's Ryan Quinn. I've got Carl Cooley here in the Dirty Chai studio with me this evening. I've also got Stephanie Guerra. Welcome both. How you doing?
Quite dandy.
I'm happy to hear that. Quite a week we've had.
Thank you for asking.
I'm so happy to hear that. It's been a weird week. A lot of different things have happened. Came across some really good music. We're going to share some of that here this week on the show. And along with that, we're going to get into various topics. There's a TV show that I came across out of Denmark that we'll talk about. Kind of interesting. It's got a different take on how to teach a lesson than other shows, perhaps. And along with that, there's been some big things happening. But first, I think I can speak for all of us that lately this week, chaos has been on our mind. Specifically, chaos on the East Coast. Now, here's some details that you might not know about what happened on the East Coast recently this week. There were 2 chickens in New Jersey, and they were terrorizing a McDonald's drive-thru.
For how long?
A good while, between a half hour to an hour. Authorities showed up, had to wrangle the chickens.
Did they have to choke them?
Yeah, you never know. But apparently they got multiple calls about chickens, and people were really freaking out because these 2 live chickens were like pecking at tires and like flying towards and up at cars, like making quite a scene.
Well, it makes sense that they'd be at that fast food restaurant. They were looking for Old MacDonald.
You're right. He had a farm. I mean, you get...
well, I think they were perhaps taking revenge for the nuggets.
That could be, too.
The nuggets.
Right, so you get the Chicken McNuggets.
I'd be mad if I was a chicken and someone stole my nuggets.
I'd be mad if somebody stole my nuggets anyway. I mean, do you really ask a chicken permission? When was the last time you had a full-fledged conversation with a chicken?
Well, I hit a rooster with a bucket not so long ago.
Is that a euphemism?
No, it really did happen.
And what led to the events that you had to swing a bucket at a rooster?
It was chasing me.
Oh.
So you had to block the cock.
You were cock blocking.
I did it.
You done did.
I done did it.
You done did it. How long ago was that? How old were you? Was this fairly recently?
This was last year. Yep.
Sure. So you got a full-grown human swinging a bucket at a full-grown rooster?
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
Well, quite a scene. Did you get any video?
No, I was actually carrying my daughter at the time, so.
You didn't swing your daughter at the
No.
chicken, though, did you?
I had the bucket and my daughter. I chose to swing the bucket.
That's probably the better call. So you were just kind of walking along, and this rooster decided he wanted to pick a fight?
Well, he's mean.
Well,
he's soup
that's
now,
been implied.
I think.
He's soup now. That's quite. That's kind of dark. Yeah. You ate the chicken, the rooster that attacked you?
Well, good thing the chickens didn't run into me in that McDonald's line, because I would have whapped him with a bucket, turned him into
You just
soup.
carry a bucket around with you because of that situation now, right?
Buckets are useful, man.
Yeah, you can use them for a lot of different things. Carl.
What happened to the chickens?
They were eventually captured.
And
that's all
the owner then?
That's all the further information I have. They were captured.
Did they become a crispy chicken sandwich?
Arrested, more or less. Ever tried to arrest a chicken? I saw a video the other week. No, that was today. I don't remember where it was, but it was 2 officers, and I assume a 3rd officer was recording, and they had a squirrel in their entryway, and they were having a lot of problems getting that squirrel out of the entryway. They'd open a door for it, and the squirrel would. I mean, they got the glass doors.
Yeah.
The squirrel would jump into the door that was closed. So they'd open that door, and by that time, the squirrel was jumping into the other door that was already closed again. Like, they couldn't coordinate with the squirrel to get him out, and then he ended up getting into the station, I think. And that's where the video cut off, because now the 3rd guy had to help take care of the squirrel that's inside the police station. It was kind of a fun video to watch. I mean, squirrels can be really mean or they can be really nice. And you never know. A squirrel that's trapped in an entryway probably isn't going to be the most friendly.
No.
No.
I would not want to get close to that guy.
Right. No, you got a pissed off squirrel. That's not what you want to have happen.
I'd hit him with a bucket.
Of course you would. Because that's what you do when you come across a squirrel.
Well, see, you could use the bucket to catch him, maybe. I don't know. See how useful buckets are?
Right. I guess he's not a rooster, so you wouldn't have to block him. You just capture him with the bucket.
Scoop him right up.
Yeah, but you got to get close to the squirrel that's just really pissed off at everything at the moment. Do you really want to scoop him?
No, I really don't.
Right. You need some gloves or something for that, just in case you missed. Or you could just throw the bucket at the squirrel and hope that...
Just grab the squirrel, yeet the squirrel.
You got to have gloves for that.
Right.
You just yeet the squirrel. I guess yeeting squirrels is an option when it comes down to it. Have you ever yeeted a squirrel, Carl?
I have never had the pleasure of eating a squirrel.
But you would.
If the opportunity arose, I suppose, yeah.
If the opportunity arose.
Squirrel has to deserve it, though. I'm not just going to eat a squirrel for no good reason. That seems cruel.
Right. You can't just go around eating squirrels because you woke up that day and you said, I'm going to eat a squirrel.
Yeah.
No, you can't set
Who
out to
does
do
that?
something like that.
People who have things against squirrels, which we do not. We would never eat squirrels for no reason.
No.
No animals were harmed.
No.
Except the rooster.
Except
ones that
except
deserve
the
it.
rooster. Stick around. We're going to be live till 11 on After Hours Radio, dirtychairadio.com. And, of course, look for the podcast. You can find that on Spotify, iHeartRadio. You can say, hey, Alexa, play After Hours Radio with Ryan Quinn, and it might work. I haven't verified it, but I'm told that that's a thing. And Apple, you can find it on those. We're not Parlor, so you can find us everywhere. We got more great music coming up for you, and we're going to talk about some different things that happened this week, and I'm going to break down some upcoming interviews that I'm excited about. But the next song you're going to hear on After Hours Radio is from a band that was known as Trip District. You can still find the lead singer, Steve Nagel, playing. He just played a small gathering in Rice Lake on the 8th, and he'll be back here sometime. I think before January ends. You can follow Steve Nagel and figure that out for yourself. We got more great music, but we start with a song called Freedom Dance.
After Hours Radio, alternatively entertaining.
After Hours Radio on DirtyChaiRadio.com. Name's Ryan Quinn. With me is Carl Cooley. We've got Stephanie Guerra in the Dirty Chai studio as well this evening. And it's been, I kind of alluded to it before, it's been a week. And I feel like, we're live to 11. We can kind of try to digest some of this. Carl, when did you realize that events were happening in Washington, D.C.? Because I feel like this is a moment that we all are going to remember when we first heard about January 6th, 2021. At least most of us.
I was at work on Facebook.
You were at work on Facebook, and you just kind of saw things pop up?
Someone posted something, and I'm like, oh, I should go, I don't know. They posted something that was kind of cryptic.
Sure.
Like, oh, something's going on. What's going on? So I kind of started looking around and going to news sites, and then it's like, oh,
this is what's going on.
This is what's going on.
I think it was a text from you, Stephanie, that first alerted me that something was happening, and I think you asked me what's happening in Washington D.C. right now.
Yes.
And the first thing I did was just Google. I don't remember what phrase I Googled, but first thing that popped up was something about protests turning to riots or something to that effect. I didn't realize yet that they were storming the Capitol building, but I found that article, sent it to you, and then I turned on the news, and I believe that was about 2:30 Central Standard Time.
Yeah, I managed to catch it like right when it was happening, and PBS's NewsHour was actually doing a pretty good live stream. I mean, their reporter Lisa Desjardins or whatever was right there and getting evacuated with all the Congress people, and they were doing a really good job covering it. And
Sure, I suppose because they'd be right there in the events of the day.
Yeah, I mean, all the news stations were there going to cover the certification or whatever, the counting of the votes in the Senate, and and then so yeah, I mean, there were a lot of live streams. I was like watching 2 or 3 at a time.
Sure.
Just like
something that I suppose we've gotten kind of used to through the course of all of what 2020 was.
Yeah.
Watching those multiple live streams, jumping back and forth, trying to get information. And that's kind of how I spent the rest of my evening, was watching different things and reading different things and trying to stay up on what was happening. How late did you end up staying up?
I actually had to go to an eye appointment, so like by 3:30 I had to tear myself away, go to my eye appointment, and after that I went home and I took a nap for like 4 hours.
It just blocked it all out.
Yeah, and I woke up and I didn't know what was going on, and it was the greatest feeling, like, oh, where am I? What's going on? And then boom, it's like a train. It hits me again, like, oh. And I think I just let us audible, like, fuck.
Right. That's kind of when I first read the article, I was just kind of like, oh, things are happening. And then like I actually looked into it. I was like, oh, things are happening. And it kind of took me back a little bit. And it's interesting kind of watching both the developments as they happened. I ended up staying up and watching things quite late. I saw maybe...
I don't think you slept, did you?
Not really. Like, I just stayed up on the couch, passing in and out of sleep all night, checking in on what was happening. And I finally became conscious enough, again, around 5:30 in the morning. So I missed the big things that happened because I ended up sleeping through it. But I stayed up trying to watch it, and then, like, passed in and out and had a little delivery food ready for me. It was made an event of it. I mean, you gotta, right? You gotta pay attention to what's going on. And then, of course, you know me. I get a little carried away on Facebook sometimes. So I spent well, I don't post anything. Then I post a lot of things. And I'm trying to break myself of that habit, but I had quite a few heated exchanges, differing opinions, which I suppose is going to happen quite a bit through the 20th now, huh?
Yeah, that's Facebook comments are gonna be just dumpster
horrible
fire for now and until the immediate, extended future.
I try to keep things fairly respectful, but I usually fail.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it more as a debate on my end than trying to belittle somebody.
Yeah.
But that sometimes happens. We're not all perfect, but there's a few different narratives coming out of it. You're familiar with them, right, Carl?
As far as who's there and who did it and who's responsible, that sort of thing.
Right, because if you rely on Facebook, you have no idea what was going on. So can you, because you're pretty in tune to news, can you give us a rundown for people that haven't maybe gotten the full rundown in a objective manner?
I can try my best. I mean, I am relying on the same sources that everyone else is, having not been there myself.
Right.
The protests, I'm calling them protesters first. Before they enter the Capitol, they're still just protesters, first doing their First Amendment protected,
Right, their right to protest, which they certainly can.
They had been a Save the America March speech that President Trump held like around 1 o'clock over by the White House. He spoke for an hour, and towards the end, he's like, "Let's walk down there and let our voices be heard," that sort of thing.
Right, and Rudy Giuliani said a thing.
I didn't watch his speech. I just watched bits and parts of Trump's, and kind of towards the end, when he got everyone riled up. And
Sure. What was it that he said that go to the Capitol and get wild? He's walking down with. Did he
said
ever
we're
walk
gonna
down with?
walk. He didn't know. He went back, and I don't know where he went. I think he went back to the White House.
Sure.
But yeah, everyone walked down there, and then they basically started just kind of going through barricades because there wasn't a whole lot of police there.
Sure.
Which is like, really? Okay. And eventually they forced their way into various entrances. I mean, the Capitol's a pretty open place. It
Right.
has,
A lot of different entry points.
I think I saw a number of like 400 doors and windows, a ground floor.
Sure.
So it's like, they're not all like, all bulletproof or anything. You can break windows and stuff and go in, and
Right.
I guess.
And that's kind of what they did.
Yeah.
And how far did they make it?
They made it into a lot of the like hallways and stuff around the chambers. They made it into I think the House chamber eventually. And that's where you get the pictures of like the guy with the horns and stuff and standing on the dais,
Right.
and they broke into offices of various politicians, and
Nancy Pelosi was one of them.
yep. And it got some, there were some very tense moments, fights between officers and people pushing back and forth. I'm surprised more people didn't die merely from like crushing deaths,
Yeah. It's a good thing that they didn't, because
Yeah.
people were pushing, and that cop looked like he was stuck. Like,
Yeah, he
just-
was like just about to suffocate to death from just being crushed between people. I mean, that's a real thing.
That
with-
was so that. Oh, it was
It
really
was
scary.
scary to
video.
watch.
It was
And-
really
Right.
scary to watch.
He did not get he didn't die.
No. Someone on Reddit said, "Oh, I'm his friend, and he's at home resting, and he's okay." Like whatever, not that's true or not.
Right.
I saw that in some comment somewhere. I'm like, oh, I sure hope he is. I mean, he looked like a young guy. He probably bounced back
Pretty
quick.
resilient.
But-
But there were casualties that came out of this. What was the
Yep.
number? I believe it's 5.
5 so far. Things were kind of still in flux there in the first few days because you didn't know what was going on.
Sure.
Most of them were medical emergencies. I think 2, were tied directly to the riots. The woman who tried to break in towards like the Senate area and then got shot by an officer in the neck and later died at the hospital.
Sure.
Police officer who was hit on the head with a fire extinguisher is what I'm hearing.
That's what I heard about him.
And then he had a stroke or something that and later died.
Succumbed to that.
And then all the others were like heart attacks.
Well, the one guy tased his balls, didn't he? And that brought on a stroke.
Yes,
yeah,
I heard
that's what
that.
I've heard.
I heard that.
I don't really know. I haven't seen any like legitimate news sources saying that, but of course I don't know if there's going to be any legitimate news sources saying that a guy tased himself in his balls accidentally and had a heart attack. I mean, they're going to say he just had a heart attack,
Well, you never know. You never know. I guess I wasn't there. I'm just trying to get information, and maybe what I've come across isn't the right information. But
Another lady got crushed to death, trampled, and I think that's 4. Then I'm not sure of the other 5th one so far.
if I remember right, that was a medical emergency
Yeah.
along the lines of heart attack or stroke.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything else about that one either.
No.
And so, do we know who this was that did this, that stormed it?
Well, yeah, they're Trump supporters who got whipped up into a frenzy, but they're kind of all over Facebook and stuff. The conspiracy is, it was a false flag by Antifa. This wasn't really, or at least they whipped them up, the crowd. Like, our Trump supporters were law-abiding citizens who have jobs, and we're not going to go break stuff and be unlawful. We were duped into this by nefarious forces. Is kind of the narrative now. For a lot of people.
But you've got a guy known as the QAnon shaman, and if you know about QAnon is a really far right-wing radical kind of
Conspiracy
cultist.
theory.
Conspiracy.
Yeah.
Conspiracy
Um,
theories.
Yeah, but this guy was known to be a part of them, and then they've had other influencers that were noticed in there, and I don't know their names.
Yeah,
You know.
there's a guy named Baked Alaska, I think was one of them, and the
That
shaman
was the
guy.
horned guy, wasn't it?
The horn guy, I think, is the shaman guy.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Not bad.
And then they arrested the guy that had his feet up on Pelosi's desk, I think.
Yep.
Did you see that guy with the zip tie handcuffs?
Yeah, yep.
They arrested him.
Was
Yep.
he a Navy or SEAL or something, or he was like a what was he?
Military veteran
Military
of some
veteran,
sort.
yeah.
I
Um,
don't remember. I read the story. All I know is he lived with his mom.
Oh.
He's 30 or something like that. So,
Oh.
and he was there with his mom.
Well, and that was one thing that I noticed in watching it. You saw a lot of a diverse crowd of white people.
Mm-hmm. Old,
Uh,
young, in between. Yeah.
Yep. And it was
A
really
lot more women
surreal.
than I kind of would have expected. I don't.
It did seem like a lot of women.
It did. And so folks have called it an insurrection, a coup.
Mhm.
Can you call it that, being that it was so unorganized? Or were there factions of it, different militia groups, or QAnon, or something else that popped up on the weird side of the internet?
Kind of depends on where you lay the blame on who incited it. I mean,
Well, some have said Trump incited it himself.
yeah, I mean, he didn't actually say the words like "go break into the Capitol." I mean, and kind of, a lot of people are saying half the reason why he put out the video saying "go home, you're very special," was to kind of push away responsibility from himself, saying like, "Oh no, I didn't, push, have
Right.
anything to do
Why
with
would
this."
you say you're very special for breaking into the Capitol? What?
I don't know, and
It's such
Weird
a
precedent.
weird thing to say.
And he's gotten himself banned for life from all the major social media networks.
yep,
Which is a thing in of itself that is bringing people to argue about misconceptions about what that actually is or isn't or means. I tell you what, it's not censorship.
yeah,
Censorship comes from the government to the people.
Yep.
A private company,
they can do whatever they want.
yeah, you have the user term and agreement. You signed up for their rules and you follow their rules, or they give you the boot. That's how it goes.
I mean, just a few years ago, everyone was, saying like, "Oh, you can't tell, business should be able to tell the gay couple they're not going to make a cake for them, for their wedding." And
Right.
then they get upset about getting kicked off of Facebook. Well, there's
Yeah.
no difference here,
A president that has banned social media would be Vladimir, and a president that has been banned from social media would be Trump. There's quite a difference, and if you don't understand it, I encourage you to look into it, to what that is.
I will say about the riots and the breaking into the Capitol, I wasn't all that surprised when it was happening, and
No.
I wasn't at all like, I can't condone it, but I also can't be like, they shouldn't have done it. Because this is what we do now as Americans. We ignore the problems until we have some big grand display of drama or disaster.
I understand
You
why
know.
they think that they did it, but I don't think I can't understand
I-
getting to that point. And I have a hard time empathizing or coming anywhere near sympathy for them.
I do have sympathy.
I have sympathy for the fact that they've been duped.
I mean, think about the George Floyd protests.
Can you compare the
This
two,
summer.
really?
In a way, you can.
Uh,
And this is, I mean, like, you remember seeing those and feeling like change is happening. Like, you kind of wanted to be there and be a part of it and say, we're people of action and we're going to, foster change now because we're fed up with everything.
right.
I could see that same emotion in the rioters. I'm like, well, all right, well, I can't
But they
really be angry about that. I can't say I don't agree with it, anything that they're really standing for, I guess. But at the same time, I'm like, if I was in that position, what else would you do?
Well, I think they're rallying around the wrong cause, and I don't really. I have a hard time comparing the events of summer 2020 with what happened in January 2021.
Yeah, but those people at this, at the Capitol would be saying, why are you burning down police stations and trashing private businesses in the middle of, Lake Street, Minneapolis, St. Paul, like.
Well, they burned down the police station because they wouldn't arrest the officers who killed George Floyd. Like
and
that.
That
and
makes
liquor
sense
stores, and like there's like whole blocks.
I don't understand the looting other than taking advantage of a situation, but
There's always going to be those people.
Right, that's not the people that
But
those are what's the word that I'm looking for? Opportunists. That and that's you didn't have many opportunists really with the events of January 6th. Where they were going into random businesses and going into random locations and breaking stuff there. They were all focused on the Capitol building and took their rage out in the Capitol.
What did they think they were going to do?
I don't.
What did they want their outcome to be?
To stop the certification of the election and get it overturned, or get President Trump voted in as president by
How do
Congress.
they think they would negotiate that? I just don't understand what they thought the plan was. It doesn't.
Well, I mean, it's like to them, it's the election was legitimately
They
stolen.
truly, genuinely believe that. Yep, they do.
And so they're patriots righteously fighting for a just cause because it was stolen from
But nothing was stolen from them. It's been to court over 60 times.
Yeah.
And lost every time, without a doubt.
But Trump continues to say that it was stolen.
Yep. So
Yeah.
So they believe that. They believe him.
I don't know how you do though. That's I don't get it. But now they're talking about because some high power people are calling it an insurrection. They're calling it a coup. That they're trying to get him removed from office, based on everything. Not just removed from social media, but trying to. They say they're going to file articles of impeachment on Monday.
What is the difference between an article of impeachment and the 25th Amendment?
Well, that's the other thing that they're trying to make happen is the 25th Amendment, which people in Trump's cabinet say, hey, this guy's unfit to be the president, and we think we should remove him. Then they get the vice president to agree with that, and then that gets a vote by, is it the Senate? That says, the 25th should be.
But I mean, the 25th comes more from the executive branch, so the secretaries of whatever
which have been resigning before Monday, so they didn't have to do it.
Oh,
that's a thought process in it. Is it the right thought? Only they can tell you really.
And the 25th
what their motives are.
Has been used in the past, for a lot less controversial things like, the president has to go surgery for something or other. We'll kind of invoke the 25th for a little bit while he's, under anesthesia, and then
all the powers then go to the vice president.
Yeah, and get transferred back once the president is back in.
Right, but he'd never be back in office, so he invoked the 25th and he's gone.
I don't know I don't think that's going to happen, just because the cabinet seems to be dissolving, like they're all quitting, and I don't really know what the stance of acting secretaries would be then, if they could have the power to do that, or if it's just going to get filled with, yes men.
Right, that could be too.
I kind of have a feeling it already has.
Yep. And then articles of impeachment, you might say, well, that's a whole process, and we remember how long it was the last time they tried this, just to be turned.
It'll be a lot shorter this time.
Right. And the other argument is, why do it with only so many days left? When this all happened, it was, 15 days left of his presidency. On Monday, tomorrow, it's going to be, 9 days left of his presidency? Yeah. So some folks say, why even bother? But there's a few...
To prevent him from running for office again.
Right. There's a few things that would mean quite a bit to those that would want him impeached.
Well, so if impeachment gets approved and gets sent to the Senate, I don't really see the Senate voting to remove him. Maybe they could say, I don't know if they would vote to bar him from holding future office, but I don't really see the Senate actively saying kicking him out.
Right.
I actually kind of see it not going anywhere. And
It's really hard to say. With you do have some high power Republicans saying, bad Trump finally, distancing themselves from him. But I don't know how deep that distance is. Like, are they willing to impeach and remove? That's hard to. I don't know who would actually go for it. Though there's some that are saying they would. I don't know if there's enough.
Yeah.
And how many House members did you have that voted to not certify? Like 126?
A lot.
Yeah. So there's quite a bit of the House, but
I think Bernie Sanders said, like, why impeach? Well, because you have to say, in a good, large way that it's not okay to do what you've done.
Yeah, there is reason to set up a precedent.
Right. That's definitely a thing that I think a lot of precedents were broken in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And whether you think that's good or bad, that needs to be addressed, like, right now. That some of these precedents, if we hold them dear to keeping democracy together, perhaps need to be more than just recommendations.
Yeah, I would rather see more action taken before Trump leaves office, just because after he leaves office, I hate to see that precedent set where you start going after ex-presidents, because that just isn't done. Because if you really think about it, probably every president in modern history has done something illegal of some nature.
Right.
You just, most of them are doing it for, national security reasons, and it's all hush-hush, clandestine kind of stuff, Obama doing, drone bombings and stuff. That's
right. So, I mean, it would be good to see something happen in terms of punishment for, a lot of the things, but specifically January 6th and the events thereof. Him and Rudy Giuliani, it's hard to say that they didn't contribute to it or even instigate it.
the bar there is very high for, proof of instigation or what have you.
But what did Rudy say about combat? Vote by combat or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that doesn't help. And then Trump telling them to go to the Capitol, walk on down there, that doesn't help. In the tone in which he said it. I mean, you can watch the speech for yourself, make your own conclusions, but it's...
I think you're going to have the smoking gun for any sort of conviction like that, and you'll never...
That white tent video adds
that just won't exist,
to the vibe. I don't know if that proves much, that white tent video. You see that?
I'm not aware.
Eric Trump videoing in a white tent outside.
Yeah, he was dancing around or something.
Yeah, they had music playing and watching the events on TVs, on monitors.
Yeah.
And you saw Ivanka and Donald and Mark Meadows all there looking gleeful. So that, I don't know how that would play into it either. Because that video, while it is doesn't speak well, it's not really proof of much other than they showed very little compassion. But there's also the theories that maybe Trump was blocking the initial calling of the National Guard to come in and fix things.
And why were there so little police?
Right, that's the thing that needs to be looked into.
Yeah. Yeah, the biggest thing that I don't like is kind of the what's the word I'm looking for? Well, basically the diminishing of the sanctity of the Capitol. I mean, this is like all these buildings are the center of American prestige and power, and a ragtag team of just rioters broke in.
Right.
It didn't take them that long to do it. I mean,
yeah, they had their mindset on doing it, and they did it really easily with very little resistance, if any, from the get-go. Once they got into the thing, they were met with obvious resistance, but a lot of questions surrounding all of it. And I don't have any of the answers. I won't even pretend to. Unless you're asking about where you can find After Hours Radio, which is on like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Alexa, TuneIn, Apple Music, Anywhere you find a quality podcast, you can find this one. For what reasons, we don't know, but you can find us there, hanging out with the good people.
2 out of 5.
What's this?
2 out of 5 on that segue.
Well,
Wow. Ouch.
yeah. Well, I thought it was pretty good. I have that answer. It's an answer that I have. I
Good
can
enough.
tell you. Also, dirtychatradio.com, live until 11 every Sunday night. This is State of Dystopia of Men and Wolves.
And all that. Broadcasting live in downtown Rice Lake, Wisconsin. You're logged on and listening to After Hours Radio.
Half talk, half music. 100% original After Hours Radio. Your Sunday nights just got better.
And all that. Broadcasting live in downtown Rice Lake, Wisconsin. You're logged on and listening to After Hours Radio.
Every day I trick the devil to cross the line. party. And all that.
Broadcasting live in downtown Rice Lake, Wisconsin. You're logged on and listening to After Hours Radio.
I'm dusting off all these memories from who I used to be. Seems like the older I get, the harder it is for me to see. Well, I was scrawny old hippie raised with love out in the country. Now I'm dusting off all these memories from who I used to be. Alright. Well, I'm dusting off all these memories from who I once was. They say that over time, man will change his living just because. But I don't know why I had to change or who I become. I'm dusting off all these memories from who I once was. In the years go by, and the seasons change, but I'm not the same. No, I'm not the same. I'm dusting off all these memories. I always will remain. I say that I'm dusting off all these memories. I always will remain. Well, I'm dusting off all these memories from who I used to be. Trying to clear my mind all the time so I can be who I want to be. But it's hard to be yourself in such a judgmental society. Well, I'm dusting off all these memories from who I used to be. In the years go by, and the seasons change, but I'm not the same. No, I'm not the same. I'm dusting off all these memories. I always will remain. I say that I'm dusting off all these memories. I always will remain. I say that I'm dusting off all these memories from who I used to be.
After Hours Radio on Dirty Chai Radio. Name's Ryan Quinn. That was Seth Gamble, dusting off all these memories, recorded at the Silver Dollar Saloon in downtown Rice Lake. I forget what year that was, but it happened, and I was there for it. Here in the Dirty Chai Radio studio with me is Carl Cooley, and we've got Stephanie Guerra with us as well. And it's been a hoot. We've got some music coming up for you. I'm going to break down some upcoming interviews that I'm excited to share with you. All of that before we get to 10 o'clock this evening. But first, Carl, have you ever seen Wallace and Gromit?
Yeah.
Yeah? Stephanie, you haven't? You're shaking your head no?
I have not.
You've not seen Wallace and Gromit. Well, basically, it was
Claymation.
yeah, it was a claymation TV show for children, but it was pretty wholesome. Anybody could really take some pleasure in Wallace and Gromit.
Mm-hmm.
And it was it was pretty popular. They made a movie of it too.
Yeah.
Everybody I know seems to love Wallace and Gromit, at least those that know it. Did you love it, Carl?
Yeah, I think I saw the movie. I'm pretty sure. And
Did you ever see the TV show of it?
I don't think so. I don't even know what channel that would have been on growing up.
I don't know either. I feel like I saw it on like VHS back in the day, like at daycare or something. It was shared with me, but I got to see it, and I always really enjoyed it. And I don't think I saw the movie, so you and I are kind of opposite in that. It is with a lot of things, I think. But there's a TV show in the same style as Wallace and Gromit in that it's claymation children's show, but this one is about a man with a very long magic penis, over which He has no control and gets him into all kinds of wacky situations. And this airs on basically Denmark's PBS for children.
You know what? I never signed away my life rights.
What? Oh, sorry.
What? Wait, so it's just like a silly penis? Like out of control silly penis? I don't.
Yeah, and I saw one quote from it, and maybe I misread what I was reading, but it explained one of the lessons that this Danish man with the very long magic penis discovers is that it's best to keep it covered. Some
Yeah, why
woman
doesn't
tells
it
him that.
Yeah.
So
it's-
he after that point he keeps it covered, and they're trying to say that this is like a wholesome show for children.
Yeah, so it sounds like he can move it around.
Yeah, and do things with it.
It's fully animated.
Yeah, just kind of lifting things and doing all sorts of
like
weird.
getting him into trouble with his penis is getting him into trouble.
Sounds
Yeah,
like it gets
kind of
him
like in the
trouble.
vein of Amelia.
Amelia Bedelia?
Yeah, in
Oh,
that she's
boy.
always learning a lesson in it, but this man needs to learn a lesson about keeping his penis under control.
So
And we're talking like unbelievably animated long, like 3 times the size of his body. Like
Oh.
it's yeah,
I feel like you could get into so much trouble with a penis that long.
right. It could get everywhere. But is this? Would you let your children watch it, Stephanie?
it's very whimsical.
I would watch it.
It's very well. You might watch it, but
this
would you?
sounds like something
I
you
would
see
have
on-
to watch it first to decide if the children could watch it.
But the idea of a very long magical penis doesn't immediately make you stop and say, you know what? Maybe not for kids.
I don't know. Maybe they can teach a lesson somehow.
they-
Everyone has body parts, man.
I suppose that's
Everyone
true.
has things they can't control. I don't know.
Do they have like a recommended age?
Like toddlers,
What?
Like
Toddlers would not
3 to 5
understand
years
that.
old.
That just gets a little bit weird for me.
Right. It's a little weird for me.
I mean, I would say maybe let's go a little bit older, but that still just doesn't seem to
Then
help
that's even
me
weirder
justify it.
somehow.
Yeah,
either,
that seems a
too.
little weirder if you
You
go
know,
older.
And like, I just don't see anywhere in the like children age spectrum where this is acceptable.
I don't know that it's appropriate. Like I like you, I might watch it. I might think it's kind of funny, but for children, I don't know.
I could see this on the cartoon, Cartoon Network's Adult Swim, after 10 o'clock or whatever. But
You're right, something like that, or some weird thing on YouTube for adults to laugh at.
so I was reading about it, and I kind of get the sense that their justification is a little bit of like you're kind of hinting at, Steph, like body positivity, like everyone is a little bit different, and they have to overcome some things about them, or some things are great and some things are bad, but we're all human with body parts.
So
Yep.
they're trying to present a wholesome message in a not a style that I'm typically
Why
used
didn't they
to.
make it like his nose, like Pinocchio style?
Yeah.
thing?
Right. That's a thing
Or
too.
ears, just go Dumbo ears.
Yeah.
Right. But they went for a very long magical penis. And
I-
some say it's just very
Magical, long,
very
big
Danish.
toe,
Others
maybe.
say it's probably not the great, but the people that think that it's just very Danish tend to think that it's completely harmless.
Do you think
Are Danish
that-
people thinking so differently somehow? About this?
Apparently, that's what they're claiming. Although there's quite a few people in Denmark that aren't very pleased about it, which is why we're talking about it here in America. Like, it caused an uproar there.
This is where I have trouble with it a little bit too. Is like, do you think it's excusing, like men's behavior? Oh, it's just because they have a dick and they can't control themselves. Is that kind of excusing
That really, yeah.
some
Right. That's kind of
possible behavior just because?
That's kind of where my mind kind of went to first. Like this,
Yeah.
I don't know if the message is gonna get across. I don't know.
Should
But-
have been the nose.
Should have been the nose.
Yeah.
Or abnormally long fingers. You know what? They probably should have made it something about bowling. That's just what they told me.
What?
Yeah, exactly. You can find the show live until 11 every Sunday night on dirtychairadio.com. If you're listening live, don't forget to check out the podcast That it can be found at dirtychairadio.com, among other places like Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more. We do videos sometimes on YouTube. You can find us there. Facebook, you can find us with the blue and red logo that if you're watching YouTube, you'll see in the bottom right-hand corner. And, of course, if you can find us on Did I mention Spotify, Carl? Should I mention Spotify again?
Yeah, why not?
You can find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Deezer. Cordell loves listening to the show on Deezer. Yeah, he makes a big deal about it every
I've never
time.
heard of Deezer.
Well, maybe you need to
I
check
think
it
he
out.
just likes to say it.
That could be too. Just another Castle to Ruin. This is Pastis.
Keeping your music taste out of Sucker Creek since 2011, After Hours Radio, alternatively entertaining.
Things you've done for me and you. Oh, I wanna get a lifetime of this, but I hope it won't take too long to confess to ourselves. I keep calling, but you won't seem to listen. I keep walking, but I can see you fall. Oh, good. We've had ourselves to blame for our love. Oh, I tried to hold you close, but you just left me. I need to find a way out from this hell by myself. I keep calling, but you won't seem to listen. I keep walking, but I can see you following. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Hey, yeah. Oh, oh. I will leave and not come back anymore. Oh, 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 oh. You will feel the way you've been treating me. I keep calling, but you won't seem to listen. I keep calling, but you won't seem to listen. I keep walking, but I can see you following. I keep calling, but you won't seem to listen. I keep walking, but I can see you following.
After Hours Radio on Dirty Chai Radio. Name's Ryan Quinn. With me in the Dirty Chai studios is Carl Cooley. We also have Stephanie Guerra. Good evening and welcome both of you. I guess welcome back, both of you.
I didn't go anywhere,
I did for a little bit, but
obviously.
hey. Carl,
Yeah.
I get lost in your implications sometimes. But what I wanted to talk about was the fact that we've talked to some really cool people as of late, and we're about to talk to some more really cool people, and a few of them have me really excited. We're working on solidifying a date with Cudlino. We know that one's happening. He's a rapper from the Eau Claire area. That'll be happening here in the next few weeks, and we just confirmed a conversation with Nikki Pepper coming up here in the next few weeks too. And Carl, you remember Nikki, right?
Vaguely, I'm gonna have to apologize.
She performed at Badger Brew quite a bit back in the day, and has done other various kind of festivals and things in our area. And along
Badger
with
Brew was
that,
a little before my time,
I suppose.
before I came back here. so.
I thought maybe she played at Sundown at the Shell, but apparently I'm wrong.
Not yet.
Not yet. Well, she'd make a good candidate for Sundown at the Shell.
Yeah.
Got a real nice kind of bluesy voice to her, folk singer. Really enjoy listening to her, and we're gonna have her on the show in a little bit. And speaking of people that have been on After Hours Radio or Dirty Chai previously, got word tonight that DirtyChaiRadio.com is picking up Ola's Cool Kitchen Thursdays. So
Hey.
that's going to be a fun show to listen to. Ola was with us on Error FM way back in the day during the Badger Brew days. So things all kind of tie together. So she'll be on DirtyChaiRadio.com within the next week, I believe. You'll start seeing things from Ola at DirtyChaiRadio.com. Speaking of DirtyChaiRadio.com, you can find this show there. There's a plug for you. But before we jump back into music, Carl, have you been listening to more music this last year? Just
Sure.
if you think about it, maybe? Or have you not noticed?
I haven't really noticed. Probably about the same, really.
How about you, Stephanie?
Well, I live with you, so there's always music playing constantly all the time.
That's true. That's the thing that I
And
do.
before, I never listened to music ever.
It's been a bit of adjustments, I suppose.
Noise, yes, well, I can handle it. I have children, of course.
But apparently, at least looking at UK, at the United Kingdom, in the pandemic, music is booming. Between music bought and streamed, it's 8.2% more than or higher than in 2020 than in 2019. So people are listening to more music during the pandemic, and that's certainly true for me. But like Stephanie said, I've always got music going, like 24 hours a day, really, various genres and different things. And I don't know, I did that before the pandemic. That's a carryover. Do you listen to music in the background of things, Carl?
If I think of it, most of the time I don't. Actually, now that I picked up a gaming computer, and so I've been playing more like PC games, and so I'll throw music while I'm doing that, so I don't rage quit as much. Put on some nice smooth jazz.
I love jazz music.
Keep my mood a little bit more stable.
Do you use Spotify? Did you get your top 5 in Spotify?
I did not look at it.
You didn't look at it, you party pooper?
I knew what was gonna pop up for my top 5, because it's like there's just always this one playlist I always go to, and it was just like that's just gonna be all those songs, and I don't really know what these songs are, and it really doesn't mean anything to me. It's just what this playlist that I found that I like. So
fair enough.
You know,
mine. I was interested about mine because my listening habits kind of changed in the last few years. And I'll put jazz on in the background for endless hours. A couple like you, I got a playlist or two that I like to stick to. So I was curious to see which ones that I considered my favorite out of those, and then I knew who the other ones were going to be.
Sure.
So that wasn't too much of a surprise. But apparently Miles Davis gets a lot of play in the house. I didn't expect the Miles to be quite as high. Taxi Driver soundtrack also was pretty high. You ever listen to that one?
No. But
You should. You should. It's dark and eerie and a little mysterious, and sometimes you get Robert De Niro saying things.
You talking to me?
Right, that's in there, I think.
You talking to me?
Yeah, it's a good vibe. It's a vibe. I like listening to it. I might listen to it tonight after the show.
I would say it's weird, like being our age and growing up with Robert De Niro, kind of like this old, little bit chonky guy.
Meet the Fockers.
Yeah, and then you go see him in this movie, and he's like this scrawny little like twig.
Right, with a mohawk.
With a mohawk, and it's like what?
Yeah. Yeah, but he played the role real well.
Yeah, he did, but it's kind of bizarre going through history in reverse. Like.
Right, no joke. I felt the exact same way. Our friend of the show, Bobby, let me borrow the Taxi Driver movie. I noticed that it's on Netflix, so I might watch it again pretty quick.
I've never seen it.
Well, now we gotta.
It's one of those classics.
It is just like Casablanca, but in a different category of movie. Still a classic. Yeah. Just saying. We got more great music for you in the long-burning 10 o'clock hour. Stick around on DirtyChaiRadio.com. If you're listening to the podcast, thank you. Try DirtyChaiRadio.com. If you're listening live, try the podcast. Anywhere you find quality podcasts. Just a dawn away.
Just a dawn away. I keep thinking about that big sky I've seen so many times before, but it's something else today. was lost in the woods under dust, and the fairies found me. And they led the way, they cleared the way to my heart. All the hurt, all the pain under the skin, I had fainted. And they carried me, they cleared the way to my heart. Thank you to magic for rescuing me. Thank you to summer for fairies, blowing glitter in the wind. I had fallen head first into love with another complete stranger, and he robbed away, taking most of me when he left. When mama told me to keep far from these underhanded men, and I'd be white, whiter than the side of a new wed bride. Oh, thank you to magic for rescuing me. Thank you to summer for fairies, blowing glitter in the wind. And I'd be lost in the woods yet today if they wouldn't have found me. I don't dare to think about what I would have been without them. Oh, thank you to magic for rescuing me. Thank you to summer for fairies, blowing glitter in the wind, blowing glitter in the wind, blowing glitter in the wind, blowing glitter in the wind. Thank you to fairies.
Broadcasting live in downtown Rice Lake, Wisconsin. You're logged on and listening to After Hours Radio.
I've been down on my luck out here lately. I've been broke, beaten, and bruised. I'm lost and confused on which path to take. She walked out like a scene from a movie. She stopped, she turned, and she said, yeah, while I stood right there, just holding her gaze. And it's hard to describe the look that she gave. I don't wanna sleep by myself tonight. Lie here with me, stay by my side. She woke up on a cold Sunday morning, felt the sting of freshly made scars, 'cause boys, booze, and bars make heavy her heart. And I can't understand how it is we fell so far. I don't wanna sleep by myself tonight. Lie here with me, stay by my side. Tonight, when you call, will I even be able to answer the phone? The connection is wrecked and I'm weak and alone. Do you let me back in? Yeah, and tonight when it ends, will we find ourselves drowning in guilt for the sins we so innocently commit, and attempt to make sense of it all. I don't wanna sleep by myself tonight. Just right here with me. I've been down to ferry. Down, I'm a here lately.
And all that.
After Hours Radio on Dirty Chai Radio. Name's Ryan Quinn. Here in the Dirty Chai studios with me inside the long-burning 10 o'clock hour is Mr. Cooley and Stephanie Guerra. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Sunday night such as this. A lot of things we've stumbled into, but we haven't stumbled into this yet. Have you ever been to Toronto? Have you ever been to Canada, Carl?
I've never been to Canada. That's on my bucket list.
How about you, Stephanie? Have you ever been to Have you ever been to Stephanie? Have you ever been Have you ever been to Canada?
I have been to the Boundary Waters.
Is that Toronto? I don't know anything about Canada. I've
really
never
know.
been.
It's just straight up.
But there's a bar owner in Toronto. They had a lockdown bar, coronavirus and what have you. He also had a room full of 5,000 old VHS tapes. And, tie along some desperation. And now his bar is offering VHS tape rentals.
Okay.
So we're going backwards in time?
Yeah, it's got memberships and everything, just like the old days. He does mention that he has several titles unavailable on streaming services, and particular hit has been a series of tapes made off of TV by individuals. They even have the 1980s commercials.
Wow.
Right, so that's a thing.
I feel like anywhere, it's always very hipstery wherever there's like VHS tapes in a bar.
You're right, that is kind of hipstery. Do you even have a VCR, Carl?
No.
I don't have a VCR. I assume you don't.
I do not, and I pawned all my VHS.
I still have quite a few VHS tucked away, but I don't have any way to play them. No, none really. I don't have a VCR. Did you ever have a VCR as an adult, Carl?
Maybe like on one of those little tiny TVs,
Sure. Did you ever have one as an adult?
No.
I haven't either. I barely ever had a DVD player. But now I got a PlayStation that takes care of that, so I don't necessarily need it. But I think that'd be kind of fun to participate in. Like, do you get the VHS rental as well there? I don't have the information on that. But
There's something so satisfying about sliding a VHS.
right, and you hear that
not
sound?
It's like ka-chunk.
Yeah, just like that.
Yep.
I actually just Emmett James was on the show not too long ago, and I got I'm wearing his hat.
Oh, yeah.
I got his cassette.
The cassette.
Yep, I got a cassette out of him. That's been fun to listen to in the car, riding to work, bumping new music on a cassette. I think that CD quality is probably still better, but something about listening to music on a cassette, I like it. Would I watch a VHS? Would you watch VHS given the opportunity?
I mean, the last time I've watched VHS was probably, this is before COVID times, going down to Somerset to the Oliphant Brewing Company, and in their little brew pub. It's very hipstery.
Ah.
They have a TV, and they have, a wall of cassette tapes and
Sure.
or VHSs, and you can pop one in and watch it, and drink craft beer and play games.
Did you choose one? What were the choices?
Well, I mean, just all the 80s and 90s, blockbusters from
Sure.
way back when. So
I think I'd be if I could find a VCR, I'd be interested in renting some VHSs every now and then just for the experience.
problem is like
I'd be interested in those 80s commercials too.
I would also be amused, I'm sure.
Yeah, that is such a different time. And like some of the same products are around, so you can see these old campaigns from way back when.
You can find that stuff on like YouTube anyway,
but not all of them. Like you're gonna find like hometown do-it-yourself commercials from the 80s. Like that'll be fun. Some furniture store that you've never heard of, and maybe may or may not exist anymore.
I mean, analog sounds good on like cassette and vinyl and stuff.
I love vinyl.
It sounds warm. You get that like kind of that soft compression or whatever, but with video, it just looks awful.
That's kind of what I like about it. It's like a
fuzzy.
Did it look that bad back in the day?
Yes, and we didn't
Yeah,
realize.
And we didn't realize
We
it?
didn't realize
It's
until
not just
TV got better and better and better.
It's not just because the VHS is old and deteriorating at this point.
Betamax was a better quality system, and it got beat
the
out
Beta.
by VHS, but that was everything everyone knew. I mean, sure, there were laser discs, but those didn't exist outside of schools. And
Right, those were huge. Those were like the size of an LP, but
yeah.
were DVD essentially.
I don't really understand them. They kind of occupy that weird in between times. Of,
Like micro disc CDs.
yeah,
Like I used those when I DJ'd at a place called Mr. DJ's.
yeah.
Those were kind of. They only had, if for my purposes, they only had like 10 tracks. I don't know how many tracks you could fit on them.
Not much.
No, those were weird. It was like a floppy disk CD. You ever seen such a thing?
Floppy disk? Yeah.
With a CD inside of it?
No.
It was weird.
Yeah.
That's probably why that didn't catch on. It looked like a floppy disk.
I don't know. Cassette tapes, dude. I just can't get behind it.
You can't get beside like video cassette or cassette.
Video cassettes.
Video cassette. It always tripped me out when they said video cassette near you or coming out soon on video cassette. Like who actually called it a video cassette? It was a VHS.
Is VHS copyrighted or something?
It may have been. That could have been the thing. I didn't think about that.
What does VHS stand for?
Video hydraulic system.
Video home system.
Video home system.
What?
He went with the first
things.
H word that. Okay.
I say things. They may or may not be true. Do your own research.
Oy.
What? You know what? This is a long burning 10 o'clock hour, and we're ending Satellites 1969 on After Hours Radio.
Don't forget to stalk us on Facebook and Twitter for exclusive content and information from the artists you love. After Hours Radio, your Sunday night just got better.
Salt tapping on my arm, your nervous body and lip, the bruises on your wrist say the things you can't quite find the words to say. And your freckles somehow more pronounced. The moment seems to stand right still. The movement of the ocean, like gracefulness in motion, in the kind of dark that's lighter than the day. So come and go away with me. Yeah, come and go away with me. In the morning, if they have much to say, we'll return ourselves back their way. We belong with the birds at sea, sinking and they're rising. I find it so inspiring, yeah. We belong with the birds at sea, and over the horizon. I find it so inspiring. And tomorrow there'll be hell to pay when you return without much to say. When your husband's eyes are screaming and you know he has a reason, but you knew that going in. So leave and come away with me. Yeah, leave and come away with me. In the morning, if they had much to say, we'll pack our things and be on our way. Yeah. We belong with the birds at sea, sinking and they're rising. I find it so inspiring, yeah. We belong with the birds at sea, and over the horizon. I find it so inspiring. I've been waiting for your call, and I've been staring at my wall. taking someone else's name this year.
After Hours Radio and Dirty Chai Radio. Name's Ryan Quinn. Carl Cooley in the Dirty Chai studio with me. Stephanie Guerra also here in the Dirty Chai studios with me in the long burning 10 o'clock hour, as we like to say, where every song is longer than 5 minutes. So that's
is that why?
yeah, the long burning 10 o'clock hour. Every song that you hear is longer than 5 minutes. The last song, Cellophane Sam, Birds at Sea, was 5 minutes 6 seconds. Song before that, Ending Satellites, 1969, 5 minutes 16 seconds. So it doesn't have to be much past 5 minutes. It just has to be 5 minutes or longer. And so you can expect that here in the long burning 10 o'clock hour. It's just a thing. Just a thing.
It's a thing.
You know, like Farmville used to be. You ever play Farmville?
No. Is it
No?
still a thing?
Well, up until 2020, the end of 2020 was the end of Farmville. But you knew exactly what I was talking about. Did you ever play Farmville or Farmville?
Totally forgot about it. I have a thing with games on my phone. I refuse to get them.
Right, me too. Me too. Did you ever play it, Stephanie?
No, I never played it. The only phone game I ever played is Tetris.
Tetris was the game for you. I never played Farmville, but I remember when it was a big thing. Along with, was it Mafia Wars? Was that one of them?
Yep.
You used to get all these.
Candy Crush was a thing.
Yep.
I think I had Angry Birds for a little while.
Angry Birds is fun. I've played that actually on a tablet.
I'm not surprised by that about either of you.
Huh.
Yeah. I don't think I played Angry Birds. Maybe I did. I don't think I did.
It's fun.
It's possible.
I'm gonna play Angry Birds later.
You can't play Farmville anymore. Can't play Farmville. The end of 2020 was the end of it. Right. Well, that was because of the demise of Flash. So, you thought Flash wasn't going to affect your life. Well, now you can't play Farmville.
So why is Flash gone? I mean, like these.
What is it? Explain it to me like I'm 5.
In the early days of the internet, Flash was the technology used predominantly to host video on a website. Java, Flash, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And so now nothing uses that, or not much uses that anymore. Farmville still used it, but they phased it out in December 2020. So if you're watching video, it's not a Flash video, which also means there's no more Flash games on the internet, right?
True.
I never considered this before.
That's. Man, you always knew like the best like Flash game like websites.
Line Rider. You ever play Line Rider?
No.
Oh, dude, you draw a line, and dude would ride it, and like you can make it squiggly and whatnot. Yeah, you draw a line, however you want to draw the line.
like the toboggan game or something like that.
Yeah, Line Rider, the toboggan game. He goes down like it's a mountain or something, and like if you draw it too steep, he's gonna crash.
Yep.
If you create a gap and he can't make it, he's gonna crash.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fun game. You can't. Are you telling me I can't play that anymore because Flash is gone? Is that what you're telling me?
Probably.
I don't like this new world we're living in.
You can find all sorts of games like that you used to play. Like I did the other day, where I'm like, one of the sim games, Sim Tower. I think I got it from one of those like Scholastic like book order things in like first grade. I played so many hours on that like dumb game on like a Windows 95 or something,
Yeah, yep. Did you ever play Oregon Trail?
Yep.
I love Oregon Trail.
That was
I learned
fun
it on
too.
a floppy disk.
You know what game I really want to play again? Grand Theft Auto 2. Or the original Grand Theft Auto.
Those are fun.
Like the above
down,
head.
yeah.
The top down view. Really poor animated graphics.
8-bit or something,
Yeah, and it was amazing.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
I wish that they'd re-release that for like PlayStation 4 or make it available on the PC. They used to.
I'm pretty sure you can find it online.
I haven't been able to in years. I've tried. I used to play it on there every now and then, but if you find a link for it, please share it because I'd love to play it again. I could put it up on the TV now with an HDMI cable. That could be fun. Oh, joy! Something to look forward to along with the Daytona 500 this spring. We're only about 5 weeks away from that, Carl.
I can't wait.
It happens to be on
You
Valentine's
sound
Day.
so convincing.
I'm excited about it. Also, the long-burning 10 o'clock hour in After Hours Radio.
And all that. Broadcasting live in downtown Rice Lake, Wisconsin. You're logged on and listening to After Hours Radio.
After Hours Radio and Dirty Chai Radio. Name's Ryan Quinn. I'm joined by Carl Cooley and Stephanie Guerra inside the Dirty Chai Studios long burning 10 o'clock hour. Happy to be here with you still on a Saturday night, or Sunday night rather, doing this live till 11 every Sunday. Also, podcast, you can check that out. Have I mentioned that yet tonight, Carl?
Perhaps. I feel like we're a cigarette brand, like long burning.
Long burning 10 o'clock hour.
Yeah.
Why not? It makes sense to me. Because every song is longer than 5 minutes. So it's long burner. And you get a variety that way too, you know? And you don't find many long songs these days. They're all like 3 something or other. So.
Well, you're not going to be playing any punk, that's for sure.
No. Punk decided that it wanted to ask if it could be played. And unfortunately it couldn't. I'd love to play a 5-minute long punk song. If you got one, send it to me. Ryan.dcrc@gmail.com. Slide it in the DMs. After Hours Radio on Facebook, on Twitter at AHRadioWY. On Instagram, After Hours Radio WY. Facebook, it's the page with the blue and red logo. Now you know. Right?
Sure.
Yeah, you know. You know. What were you? What? Oh, yeah. We were talking about Farmville. On the last break.
It's gone.
Well,
It's gone, but not forgotten.
kind of like us. Thanks for tuning in on a Sunday night. We'll do it again next Sunday. This is Andy Nelson clocking in at 5 minutes, 26 seconds.
Why does the world need an open platform for VoIP? You don't have a phone and a Vodafone
Your porcelain bones have fractures in most of them. I'll soothe you with melt and pull all of your thistles out. 'Cause I don't want you feeling down. I can't begin to imagine a life without such a sound. Without you, without hanging around. With hanging around. With hanging around. This room is a motel. Check out when you are feeling well. The stereo glow is for your shadow. Will ease and satisfy you. 'Cause I don't want you feeling down. I can't begin to imagine a life without such a sound. Without you, hanging around. imagine a life without such a sound. Without you hanging around, I can't begin to imagine a life without such a sound. Without you hanging around, let's tinfoil the ceiling and try for reception all the way from Japan. And only you could ever understand. I can't begin to imagine a life without such a sound. Without you hanging around.
Unusual cricket team, the Compton Cricket Club, was set up to develop an alternative to homelessness and violence on the street, and now some of them are off to Australia for their first overseas trip. Correspondent Pete Rose in California.
Don't forget to stalk us on Facebook and Twitter for exclusive content and information from the artists you love. After Hours Radio, your Sunday night just got better.
Hey, Mr. Record Man, can you sell my records all across this land? Hey, Mr. Agent Man, can you book me shows from New York to Japan? I sing you songs about anything. I sing you songs about sweet things. Just show me numbers. Just show me numbers anyhow. I sing you songs about anything. I sing you songs about sweet things. Just show me numbers. Just show me numbers anyhow. Hey, all you girls out there, can you sing my songs? Can you sing them out so loud? Hey, all you men out there, would you be just like me? Could you be just like me? Whoa. I'll sing you songs about anything. I'll sing you songs about sweet things. Just show me numbers. Just show me numbers anyhow. I'll sing you songs about anything. I'll sing you songs about sweet things. Just show me numbers. Just show me numbers anyhow. Mr. Banker Man, can I buy a jet plane, fly across this land? The American Idol man cannot be in Clay Aiken or Ruben Studdard's band. Whoa. I'll write them songs about anything. I'll write them songs about sweet things. Just show me numbers. Just show me numbers anyhow. I'll write them songs about anything. I'll write them songs about sweet things. Just show me the numbers. Just show me the numbers anyhow. Warfield Band, give it up for him, come on.
After Hours Radio, alternatively entertaining.